David Goggins versus Iron Cowboy. Who is the greater endurance athlete? We're going to talk about that today and the key lessons from Never Finished and Iron Hope, both respectively by their authors, David Goggins and Iron Cowboy James Lawrence. So let's go ahead and break this down into 10 different categories, and then we're going to go over the key points from each book and the key points from the book of the winner of who is the greatest endurance athlete of all time. So let's start off with the obvious swimming. Swimming is part of a triathlon. So Iron Cowboy, he swam 2.4 miles every single day for 101 consecutive days in the Conquer 100. This is unmatched endurance and it's very technical. David Goggins obviously has a lot of Navy SEAL training and drown proofing and a lot of stories with that. But for this, I have to give the triathlete the edge for swimming. So, winner, James Lawrence. Now, biking. Goggins really doesn't do any biking at all, so the obvious edge goes to James Lawrence. But it's just so impressive how many miles he biked in 101 consecutive days and during the 50-50-50 and when he climbed Mount Kilimanjaro on a bike. Obviously, this point goes to James Lawrence. Now we're going to dive into running. In my conversations that I've had with James, he says that one-on-one in a last man standing thing, he would beat David Goggins. Now, I respect the man and I love that so much for him, but let's look at the numbers here. Iron Cowboy, he obviously ran 101 marathons in 101 consecutive days. That's his biggest running feat. He's done ultra distance runs and multiple consistent races, but this is all after swimming and biking. Very difficult to do. But David Goggins, he is known for his running. He's known for his ultra marathons, for Badwater, for Moab, and for just running insane distances and then having that crazy endurance. I'm going to have to give a slight edge to David Goggins in the running category. So, how about overall endurance? David Goggins endured BUD/S training, all kinds of army training, hunger, pain, thirst, fatigue, and he went through a lot of ultramarathons and he suffered so much more in his life, in his childhood, and throughout the rest of things that he had to endure from gaining weight and losing weight, all the different stories that he has. But James Lawrence running 101 consecutive Ironmans is absolutely insane. I'm not taking that away from him. That is the craziest feat of endurance of all time. This one, I'm really struggling on deciding who I want to give the edge to in this. The thing is, I believe that James could have ran more. He could have gone longer. But Goggins, he runs for days at a time without stopping. They both have world records, which we're going to talk about their accomplishments in a minute. They've both ran on broken legs and had so many trials and things to overcome. If we're not including all the suffering from Goggins' childhood, if we're talking just straight up endurance of being able to go for a super long period of time, I'm going to give the edge to James Lawrence. This one is very similar. This next category is mental toughness. Iron Cowboy, he uses reframing and identity mantras like, I am the Iron Cowboy, I'm a robot, I feel no pain. He has conviction, his focus is his family, so he's able to overcome things. And as far as a sports psychologist perspective, family and relationships and having a deeper why is much more important than a pain why. So Goggins himself, he has relentless accountability with the truth mirror, the 40% rule. He's taking souls, and he's just unmatched in mental toughness. He's known for that, but so is James Lawrence. I'm going to have to give this one an actual tie. This next category is impact. David Goggins has sold more books. He inspires people through just raw suffering, discipline. The Navy SEAL category gives him a lot of points with having the Navy SEAL title. He's got a lot of grit, and he has the stay hard movement. Iron Cowboy doesn't have a specific movement like stay hard. He has don't suck today, which isn't as big a movement, but he does inspire through family-based principles, and he's raised millions for multiple charities. They both have. As far as impact on masses of people, I'm going to have to give the edge to Goggins. Now let's talk accomplishments. They both have world records. James Lawrence has 50 Ironmans in 50 states in 50 days, 101 Ironmans in 101 days. the first one to do Kilimanjaro on a mountain bike and many more feats like that. Whereas Goggins, he has the world record for pull-ups. He's ran multiple ultras. He's a Navy SEAL and Army Ranger, and they both have best-selling books. For this one, I'm definitely giving the edge to James Lawrence, the Iron Cowboy. There is just nothing else like running that many Ironmans consecutively. Now let's talk about their books themselves. Redefine Impossible and Iron Hope are about conviction. They're family driven, family focused. They talk about core, solid values that make it so that you can live a better, happier life. Whereas Goggins approaches this more stoically, and in his books, Can't Hurt Me and Never Finished, they're raw, gritty, intense, and they're all about discipline. As far as values go, it just depends on your preference. If you like the more raw, gritty, in your face kind of stuff, that's going to be Goggins. If you like more hope and value packed and stories of amazing feats, you're going to go with James Lawrence. So this one comes down to your personal preference. For me, my personal preference would be Iron Cowboy. This is a category that is going to be the biggest difference for me because this is the value of life. It's family. Who does better with family? Goggins, he embraced self-reliance, and he has such an emphasis on that. He's been through divorces, and I don't know his whole life. I don't know all the things that he has been through, but what he has shared. Family is just less central to his story. So the obvious edge goes to James Lawrence. He focuses so much on family. He's built every accomplishment around his wife and his kids, his community. He's given back to everybody around him. He is anchored in relationships, and obviously family has to go to James Lawrence. Let's talk overall legacy as our final point. James Lawrence, he proved that the impossible in endurance sport is not really impossible. He redefined human capacity with his family as fuel. That has a much better impact than what David Goggins did. Is he proved that your mental limits are all lies. He globalized the stay hard mentality, which has been hurting some people. I just think that overall, the life you're going to live is going to be way more fulfilled if you live it the Iron Cowboy way. Edge, James Lawrence. So let's break down each of their second books. James Lawrence in Iron Hope, he talks about conviction is the most important thing, and you have to believe 100% in what you are doing in order to achieve that goal. He uses his identity as his power. I am the Iron Cowboy. I am a family man. His affirmations are very important to him. He puts his family first. He still attends his kids' events, and he's very involved with his family. I've seen this personally. He shows grit and suffering through embracing discomfort, suffering through his whole story. I highly recommend watching his documentary, Conquer 100. You can get a little more in-depth feel of how much he actually went through, and you can read his book, Iron Hope. He has a lot of different stories in that, and we're going to break down a little bit more. But Impossible Never Finished Iron Hope David Goggins are about these are his main they're points. Family driven, they're family focused. They talk most about people quit solid values 40% that make it so that you can live a better, happier life. Never stop. Whereas Goggins never approaches this more stoically, and in his books, Can't Hurt Me and Never Finished, he uses the accountability mirror, taking souls, discipline. He embraces suffering. As far as values go, uncommon amongst it just depends on your preference. If you like the more raw, gritty, discipline and based kind of stuff, that's going to be Goggins. If you like more obviously shares value on mental toughness, stories of amazing feats, you're going to go with James. And I do love his stories. So this one comes down to Fire Ranger and the more ultra marathons, and how for me, my personal preference believes that he is never going to stop and has to continue every single day, even though he's running on broken bones and really bad. This is a category ankles that and knees is going and hips, to be the biggest difference for me because this pushes the value of athletes life past family their threshold. Who Goggins does better with family? A very Goggins stout resume. He embraces, but self-reliance. James Lawrence, obviously James Lawrence, the Iron Cowboy, is my goat when it comes to endurance athletes, and I have been blessed to be in masterminds with him and to go to events and to have him be a part of my life, and I'm so grateful for that. So I want to talk about this grand finale of why he's the GOAT and talk more about his book, Iron Hope. Number one is the consistency. His goal was to do 100 Ironmans in 100 consecutive days. But what blew people's minds is that on day 101, he woke up and he did one more Even though he was suffering, he was in pain, and he could have stopped. He did his goal, he accomplished his goal, but he did one more. That speaks volumes. He uses his identity as fuel. His identity matters. That he's a family man. He is the Iron Cowboy. These lessons in performance psychology help anybody shape their endurance and become a higher level performer. And obviously, we've talked a lot about the family integration, the values that he has. He doesn't swear much. He has a better moral compass, I believe. But when he talks about his family, he shows that you can be a peak performer. You can be an elite level person in business, in endurance, in whatever category you're in, and you can still prioritize your family. This redefines success. He has said over and over again that the most important thing is to have 100% conviction in what you are doing. If you believe in it and you believe you're doing a good cause and you have conviction, you can endure any pain. The strongest why can endure any how. And he obviously leaves hope as his legacy. When he was first coming out with this book, it was supposed to be titled One More because of doing that last Ironman on the 101st day. But he switched it to Hope. And I was able to be there when we talked about why he released it as Iron Hope and that his message and the reason that he went through suffering is hope. My mom and my parents, they didn't understand. Why would somebody go through that much pain? Why would somebody intentionally suffer like that? And the reason is hope. There's a lot of people out there that are suffering and it's not their choice. They have to endure the suffering without the ability to get out of it. So intentionally putting himself in this suffering and then saying, I'm going to do this even more. I'm going to go one more. He inspired people to run their first marathons with him. He inspired people to go alongside everything he was doing. This legacy of hope is about living with hope, living with an ability to look towards the future and redefine your impossible, proving that humans can accomplish when they just refuse to quit. Endurance in sales, in business, in life is no different. It's about reframing, taking the negative, spinning into a positive, anchoring in your purpose, your why, what's your why, and carrying unshakable conviction into every single sales call, every single meeting, every single interaction, every single time that you have to go to a game, everything that you do, approach it with 100% conviction and responsibility, and you will meet your goal. Now, my question is, do you want to have that same conviction, that same identity, that ability to take these lessons and apply it into your own life little by little? It's not going to happen all at once. Something that James preaches a lot is don't go from nothing to running 100 Ironmans. Go from nothing to a 5K, to a 10K, to a marathon. That principle applies in life as well. It doesn't have to be running. It doesn't have to be endurance. It can be anything. It can be, again, your business, your life, your sales, your career, your money, your fitness, anything. So if you want to level up, go ahead and join the free community. I'll hook you up with a free coaching call. We can talk one on one about how you can apply these principles to yourself. Thanks so much. And this has been a Mind Fit Time.